Under Section 40 of the Home Rule Act, Donald Trump has taken federal control of the Washington, D.C. Police Department. This is the tea you need to know about the press conference that Donald Trump held today with the Legion of Doom. All right. And so Donald Trump signed 2 executive orders. And the first executive order, that was the Home Rule Act, where he enacted his right to take over the Washington, D.C. Police Department. It be hot sometimes. That's all I'm trying to tell you. All right. The second executive order that he signed today or yesterday, but I think today or this morning, was granting the National Guard the right to come in and work with the state of, or the city of, or Washington, D.C. He also, and within this executive order, it granted the National Guard the right to work with the mayor as well. So under these executive orders, Pam Bondi has been named like the head of the police department, and there's another man who's coming in and acting as interim deputy. I don't know if this lady is the DA for Washington, D.C. or the District of Columbia, but there was this lady in this orange suit who she got up and she talked about how she's not able to really prosecute properly because of the DC Council and the judges that essentially allow the judges to have more power over the ruling. She said in instances where the judges should be ruling for more than probation, that the judges are granting a lot of leniency, and there's an issue with that. So that's one of the things they'll be working on. They'll be working on cleaning up the actual streets, and I'll talk about that a little bit more. They'll be working on getting criminals off the streets, and so I'll get into my opinion about that later. They'll be working on getting homeless people off the streets. They'll be working on medians. So those are just a few of the things that they want to do. Donald Trump declares this, or said this is a public safety emergency, and there will be extensive police presence in Washington, D.C., and you can expect it, and you should expect it, and that's what Pete Hegseth said. They are really excited about this initiative. They said they need to revitalize Washington, D.C., and this is the first step. And they're saying especially due to the things that have been happening in Washington, D.C. He talked about the Doge guy who got hurt. He talked about one of his friends. Additionally, he also spoke and counteracted, because a lot of people have been saying that the crime rate in Washington, D.C. is the best it's been in years. And he just said, and he said Pam Bondi will be looking into, but he said we fired that person who had those fake numbers. He said those numbers were not right. And he gave some 2023 stats about how high the murder rate was. Okay, let me hit my J and let's gossip and have some tea. So that's all the facts. And so that's me kind of analyzing it. And then I'll come back and tell you kind of what I think about a lot of these things. And then we'll go over some of the reporters' questions. This was a really long press conference. I actually think he kept his train of thought for the most part. He rambled a little bit, but that's expected. But yeah, so that's what's going on in Washington, D.C. And before I hit my J, I just want to say the reporters aren't concerned enough about Washington, D.C. And it's crazy. I was talking to my dad right before I hopped on, and he was just like, he's trying to distract from Russia. And that's one of the things that the reporters kept asking about was Russia. But do y'all not hear what's going on in Washington, D.C.? Like, let me tell you, I'm going to give y'all, like, let me explain to you what I just said to you in 2 seconds. So when it's pouring down raining, why is it a nigga outside cutting the grass? I was waiting for that nigga to fucking stop cutting the grass, and I was like, wait, it's raining. But anyways. So one, I don't even know where to start, but what Trump is doing in Washington, D.C. is so dangerous, it's insane. So he said he's going to, like, in his rant and ramble of the things that he was going to do and going, you know, in this public emergency, public safety emergency, this revitalization plan that he's come up with is get rid of drug dealers, homegrown criminals, and like homeless people. So my question is, this is where I get a little iffy and shaky. So what's drug dealers and homegrown criminals? So they about to just do a clean sweep of anybody who looks like a drug dealer or a homegrown criminal? You get what I'm saying? Like, I feel like it's about to get real dangerous and violent in Washington, D.C. And Pete Hegseth is covertly enforcing or endorsing violence. He was just like, we're going to be strict, we're going to be stern. And Donald Trump was asking whatever deputy he put over, he was just like, you know, if you're too soft, I'm going to fire you. So I feel like they're endorsing aggression, and that makes me so nervous. And I think this is the gateway drug. It's going to go from just immigrants to violent American criminals or violent name other race, put other race here criminals. Like, it's just a gateway drug, and I'm really nervous for that. All right, what else did he say that made me very concerned? He kept saying Democrats are easy on crime. They kept talking about, and I had to write this down, no cash bails. Do they want no cash bails or don't they want no cash bails? It was really like, apparently a lot of people, like, there was a reporter who got robbed in Washington, D.C., and he was just like, this guy was like a young kid, but he committed an adult crime, so he should do adult time. And that's when the DA lady must have came, I think that's who she was. She came back up and she was just like, you know, that's what I'm saying. The council is allowing judges to give these people passes. And I don't think that's right, and we need to clean that up as well. So that's you know, in this initiative, those are things that they're cleaning up. Be an overwhelming police presence. So this is one thing I want to talk about. Donald Trump, one of the reporters asked Donald Trump what was the reason. So it was a leading question, and I tend to think that this reporter was a plant, but he asked him what was one of the reasons why you want to do this, and I think it was a phenomenal answer, to be honest. And he said, like, his dad, he told a story about his dad. He said his dad told him, they was walking into or going into a restaurant. I told him a story about, if you see a restaurant with a dirty door, don't go in, because the restaurant kitchen is probably dirty as well. He was like, Washington, D.C. is the nation's capital. He was just like, when people come here, this is the first thing they see. When people do business here, they come from all around the world, this is the first thing they see. It should be the most secure place in the United States. And I tend to agree with that. And you're right. If you think that we are unsafe and our streets look bad and everywhere you go is unsafe, then you tend to think the rest of the city is like that. You think the rest of America is like that. And he said this is something that he could implement in other cities. And he was talking about Chicago, because apparently he got a beef with Chicago mayor or governor. But that was his answer on as to why he's doing this. He just thinks that it's the capital of the United States, and it should be held in a high esteem, and it should look a certain way and be presented a certain way. And I agree in that sense, but I don't know. Like, people could use good ideas for bad things. What else? All right, hold on. Let me see. Now, he did talk about reclassifying marijuana, and he's going to win the young people over with that, because I would absolutely love, like, come on, just, you might as well. But he talked about the pros and the cons of it, but he said somebody must have leaked that, but that is something that we're talking about. So he's talking about reclassifying marijuana, and you know I'm not mad at the boy for that. Oh, so really quickly on the Putin Russia thing, he about to go get the tea from Putin to see if he should even bring whatever he's talking about to Zelensky. He's like, I'm going to see if he talking about something or he not talking about something, and we should go from there. But he says he wants to tell him this needs to end. So he said that's his intentions with the Russia thing, but he don't know what that's gonna look like. He said he gonna call us back later this week. Donald Trump used the phrase, the ethnic phrase, like OD, like somebody is OD or some shit, like not they're actually ODing, but like no, they like OD, they doing too much. That's it. That's the tea you need to know. Yikes.